All right, so we will be moving on into lesson 4.6, and what lesson 4.6 is dealing with is linear equations that are written in slope-intercept form, and we'll get to that in the later days. But for today, all we're going to be doing is graphing linear equations using the slope they're given, that's given us, and then the y-intercept that we're given as well. So our first step is to graph the y-intercept. So in your homework problem, they'll give you the slope and the y-intercept. So the first thing we do is graph the y-intercept. Then after that, our second step is to use the slope that we're given to plot 2 more points after that. So, this first practice problem says graph a line with slope -2 and a y-intercept of 4. So our first step is to graph the y-intercept, right? So what is our ordered pair if our y-intercept is 4?
0, -2. 0, -2.
Why?
What?
Why?
Because it wants the y-intercept.
The y-intercept's 4.
Oh, 0.
Aurora? 0, 4. Yep. Because when we are dealing with y-intercepts, what is the value of x?
0.
0, right? So if we go over here, here's our y-axis, this is a darker shaded one. Any point on here, if I pick this one, what's its x value?
0.
If I go down here, what's its x value? Exactly. So, if our y-intercept is 4, that's where we get the ordered pair 0, 4. Okay, so now we need our second and third points. So, using our slope, and what is slope again? What over what?
Rise over run.
Rise over run. So if our slope is -2, what would our rise over run be?
Well, you can go down 2 over 1.
And how would we write that? If we're going down to,
-2 over 1.
okay, so -2 over 1, and that translate to down 2, oops, not down 1, down 2, and which direction are we going for our run?
Left. What, right?
Right, right 1. Alright, so let's just plot what we have right now. So we have our y-intercept of 0, 4. So 0, go up to 4. There's our first point, right? So now plot your second point. If we use our slope this way, down 2, right 1. So from this point, we go down 2 units, and then right 1. So our next point will be right there. Yes, Michaela?
How do you know to go right or left?
Well,
If it's negative.
right, so the negative sign determines which way you go. So on our x and y axis, if we go up on our y, is that positive or negative?
Positive.
If we go up for over our values, are they getting more positive? They're getting bigger, right? So when we're going up, that's considered positive. And if we go down, we're getting more negative, right? That's why it's negative. And then for our right and left, just like on the number line, if you go to the right, it's becoming more positive. So that's why it's positive. And then same thing with going left, it's becoming more negative, right? Right. All right, so we have our first point and our second point. So then, which direction do we go when we found our point? Do we go left or right?
Right.
Right. So what happens if we go left? Or how could we go left?
I think a better question to ask is this, I'm sorry.
Nope.
It's a slope of -2. If we're gonna make it into a fraction, can both the numerator and the denominator be negative and divide out to be a negative slope?
No.
Can you have a -2 over a -1?
No.
What do you think, class?
No.
A -2 over a -1, would that divide out to be a -2? What would that divide out to then?
Positive 2.
+2. So can we do -2 over -1 for our rise over run? No, but can we do -2 over 1?
Yes.
Why?
Because then you
One is positive.
Okay, and what happens when you take -2 divided by +1? It simplifies to -2. Is there another way we could write that fraction that would also simplify to -2?
negative 1 under 2.
-1 under 2?
Or
No, -4.
Okay, that's okay, I mean, I was afraid you were gonna put it upstairs was all. So -1 under 2 or 2 upstairs and -1 downstairs? Okay, let's try that. Can we get away with that? +2 over -1. Would that simplify to -2? We gotta make sure it would, first of all. Okay, well then if it does, how would we treat that?
It does.
Does, right? Okay, so now we have a +2 for our rise, so what direction would we be going for that one? Up or down?
Up.
Up, so you go up 2, and then we have a -1 for our run, so which way will we be going, right or left?
Left.
Left. And how many units?
1.
1. So, from our y-intercept, we go up 2 units, and then left 1. So we have just plotted 3 of our points. So,
How many points do they have to plot? What's the minimum, Mr.?
minimum is 3.
Unless the graph won't hold 3.
Alright, so, are we done yet? Yep, we gotta draw our line, so make sure you go all the way through your graph and extend your lines. So, title of our notes, or the first thing it says is using slope and y-intercept to graph linear equations. So, we use a y-intercept, right? And then we use slope to graph 2 more points. So, does everyone see how that works into it? Where you have your intercept and slope, and from that you can make your own graph.
How many points are there on this line?
3.
How many points did we use to make the line?
3.
How many points are on the line? Could we keep making points?
Yes.
Okay, how many points are really on this line, class?
Infinite.
An infinite number of points. Okay. Let's talk about the behavior of the line.
What kind of slope do you guys think this has?
Negative.
Negative. Why? Because it's falling from left to right. It also says our slope is -2. So if it gives us a slope of -2, does our graph that we came up with seem reasonable that it's paired with it?
Yes.
Because negative slope here, our graph shows the behavior of negative slope, right? So when you guys are doing your homework, if you look at the slope they give you and the graph that you come up with, if they have opposite behavior, so if your slope is negative and your graph is positive, You think that you should go back and check it over again? All right, so just more practice. We go back over to the backside. So graph the line with slope 2 and y-intercept -1. So what's our first point that we get?
0, -1.
0, -1. Let's plot that on our graph. So 0, -1 is right there. Then, to find our second and third points, we have our rise over run. So we have a slope of 2. So what would our rise over run be?
2 over 1.
Okay, positive 2 over positive 1. Okay, so what direction would we be going? A rise of 2 would be going up or down?
Up 2.
Up 2?
Right 1.
Right 1. Okay, so from our y-intercept, if we go up 2 and right 1, we have a point right there. Is that the only way that we could get positive 2? No. So, we write 4. What's another way we could get a positive 2?
-2 over -1.
-2 over -1. Does that check out? -2 divided by -1 is 2,
Yes.
right? So, we have a rise of -2.
Down,
So,
down to left 1.
down to left. All right, so again, from our y-intercept, now we go down 2, so down 2 and left 1. Do we have our 3 points, or a minimum of 3?
Yes.
So we can draw a line now, right? What kind of slope does this graph have?
Positive.
Positive because,
It's rising.
It's rising from left to right.
right.
And the slope is one.
Yep, so the slope we get, or we're given, is positive 2. The graph we came up with has a positive slope, or has behavior like positive slope, so can we say our answer seems reasonable?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. All right, one more problem, or one more practice problem. So you guys try this one by yourselves.
How about they just give the setup first? How about and we check to make sure. So a
Okay.
first point, and then what are the 2 ways you can do the slope? Okay, do that on your papers, please. The first point and both the ways you can treat slope. you're not, no graphing yet. I wanna see the 2 ways you can do rise over run and what that looks like. Good job.
Okay.
I want to just get it.
It looks like. Once we've kind of said, yeah, you've got it right, go ahead and grab it. And you can draw your line after you have your 3 points. You're supposed to start from there. Instead of giving a negative sign, this time it would be.
Distorted and weird. Okay, so it looks like everyone's done. So, the first one, our rise over run, what's our slope? -3/4. So, we can have a rise over run of -3 over +4. So that would mean we do what?
Down 3, right 4.
Down 3 and right 4. So if we plot our points, we have 0, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So down 3 and right 4, right there. Or if we have a rise over run of, oops, 3 over -4. So we can do that because -3 over 4 is the same as 3 over -4, right? It comes out to be the same thing. So what directions are we going? Up 3 So, from our y-intercept, we go up 3 and left 4. There's our third point. So after we get all 3 of our points plotted, we draw a line through it, and that is not good. Alright, there we go. Okay. Oops. So you extend it all the way through your graph. So, what kind of behavior does this graph have? Negative, because it's going down from left to right. And the slope we're given is, thank you, negative 3/4. So the slope we're given in the graph we made make sense? Mm-hmm. All right, so anyone have any questions about what we're doing? All right,
Mr.
so
Conlon, can slope always be written 2 different ways? 2 different rises over runs.
Mhm.
Okay, so do we expect them to do that?
Yes.
Yes, we do, okay.